Hi, and welcome to Disctv, the show that brings you the world of disc golf. I'm Brian Sullivan, and this week we're in laid-back Santa Cruz, California for the Masters Cup. We're also at De La Viega Disc Golf Park, one of the toughest disc golf courses in the world. Will it challenge the players? You bet. So don't go anywhere. Disctv is on the air right now. Also this week, we'll meet a disc golfer who illustrates that anyone with enough desire can not only play, but win at this game. It's all about disc golf. This is Disctv.
Good. Pause.
Disctv is brought to you in part by the Professional Disc Golf Association, guiding disc golf into the future, and by DiscLife.com, the world leader in disc golf. And welcome to Disctv's coverage of the 2002 Masters Cup Disc Golf Tournament. We're here with Tournament Director Tom Schott. Tom, thanks for having us out.
Glad you guys could make it.
Now, you call it the Masters Cup, but in fact, all open divisions are playing this weekend, correct?
All divisions are playing. And last weekend we had all the AM divisions playing.
And how many players are going to be here this weekend for the pros?
182 pros.
Okay. Now, you've seen them coming through registration. Who are you keeping your eye on? Who might be winning this weekend?
I kind of think Barry Schultz might be up there. He didn't win last year. He won the 2 years previous to that. I mean, he knows this course. It's a long and technical course. I mean, Kenny Climo can come up and win. Stevie Rico won last year. Bomba Rico is a favorite here. And we also have a couple local players that could do real good.
A lot of players will list De La Viega as one of their favorite courses of all time. Tell us a little bit about the course and the challenges that are out there.
Well, there's 27 holes, and we've added one other hole this year. Every hole is different. Every hole takes a different type of shot. You have to have your two-finger roller, your backhand roller, your upside-down shots, your hyzers. I mean, this is a very challenging course. It's long and it's technical.
We should see a lot of exciting disc golf this weekend, so let's take you out to the action. California disc golf is oh so fine. First, highlights from the women's division, where the competition is always important, but having fun is an equal priority. Carrie Berligar showed everyone how to approach past any hazard. And Ruth Steele kept the pressure at a constant boil. But as always, it's never over until the last putt is in the basket. Speaking of putts, did we mention that Annie Kreml kept sinking them from all over the place? Kreml continued to find chains all weekend long and took the women's title. And we're here with Masters Cup Women's Champion Annie Kreml. Annie, you went into the final round with a 5-stroke lead, came out 9 on top. How'd it go out there?
Oh, it went great out there today, yeah. Felt like I had my confidence game going once I warmed up a little bit. I let them make the mistakes and let them try to come to me, and they didn't step up, so got lucky on that one.
To the men's master division, where 40 through 49-year-olds can compete without the pressure from the young guns. They may be older, but with age comes wisdom. The top of the world hole was rough on nearly everyone at the Masters Cup, with lots of sticky trees and OB behind the basket. Jim Oates hucks a good one. It's got the distance. Looks good. Looks good. Coming down and right into that tree. no justice. It takes plenty of skill to get to the lead card in the Masters division, and there's nothing like hitting a few long putts to build a player's confidence. The tough terrain took its toll on many of the Masters, and in the end, it was Grass Valley, California's Johnny Lissaman who kept the Wolves at bay to take his third victory in a row. We're with 2002 Masters Cup Masters champion Johnny Lissaman. Johnny, you've won 3 events in a row now, Browns and Bows, the Mother Lode, and now the Masters Cup.
That's the triple nugget. That was my mission. This is Northern California, and we have to, we have to defend our land up here.
Now to where the big boys play. It's the Open Division. De La Viega Disc Golf Course is just as brutal on these guys, especially if you've left your A game at home. 2001 Masters Cup champ Stevie Rico fell apart early on and never got it back together, while Chris Brophy made a big move on Sunday, barely missing a spot into the final 9. And right-handed thrower Ken Climo throwing lefty? Whatever it takes to win at De La Viega. By the third round, it was clear that nothing could rattle San Diego's Micah Dorius. Johnny Lissaman's brother Jeff was living up to his nickname as the Technician. 16-year-old crowd favorite Nathan Doss was wowing his way into the final 9. And Wisconsin's Barry Schultz, well, he was just his usual amazing self. Disc golf is the new outdoor sport for the entire family. This environmentally friendly game is now being enjoyed by hundreds of thousands of players on over 1,200 courses worldwide. For the past 25 years, the Professional Disc Golf Association has been there, guiding disc golf into the future. The PDGA is an international nonprofit member organization that serves both professional and amateur disc golfers. The Professional Disc Golf Association, guiding disc golf into the future. Hi, and welcome back to Disctv, the show that brings you the world of disc golf. Today we're with Jacob Hankemer of Santa Cruz, California. Jacob, thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me.
Now, one of the things that gets under my skin about Jacob and his game is that, well, he can throw farther than I can, which really annoys me because I have an advantage over him. I have 2 legs, Jacob, you have 1. How did you learn to throw so far and so well? Because not only your long game is good, but your short game is great too.
It's just like anything. It's just practice is what counts more than what you got on your body. And I just probably have some natural ability with athletics, which helped out as well.
What is it about your particular handicap that you had to overcome to be throwing like some of the guys who've been throwing all weekend long here?
Well, overcoming a handicap, I mean, everyone has handicaps. A lot of people have mental handicaps that you'll never see. That just happens, that mine's really obvious, so I don't like to think of it as being a handicap. It's just, I'm another golfer out here. I happen to have 1 leg, but that's not part of the game of golf. It's not about how many legs you have. So overcoming that's not a problem, no more than anybody else's problems out here.
What I'm curious about is how you keep your balance.
Balance, it's tough. Especially when I do a run-up drive. If I have a long drive where I have to throw hard, want a little extra distance, I'll do a run-up, well, it's a hop-up drive for me. It's about 3 hop steps. And I have 1 crutch in my arm, which I use as kind of a counterweight to help me get some spin going. And Keeping the balance, I don't know, it comes a lot of times, if I'm a little off balance, it'll mess up the drive. So I try and do that less and less and do more standstill drives where I just have a more solid base. But just trying to keep myself centered, standing upright seems to help out a lot. If I'm hunching over, I'll end up off balance. But if I feel like I'm well centered, it doesn't matter, you know. And I spend a lot of time just hopping around when I'm at home instead of using my crutches. So if I drop a crutch in the middle, I'm not in real danger of falling down. I can just, you know, hop over and pick it up.
If you are making a shot and you're standing still, do you get a nice clean follow through, or have you had to adjust?
It's pretty clean. I use a sidearm technique mostly, and that keeps it away from my body. So even though I can't move my body a lot when I'm doing a standstill, a lot of guys have a kind of lunge forward when they putt. If they're outside 30 feet, they'll jump forward. I don't have any kind of jump forward on a upshot or a putt. Everything off the tee pad is just standing still. And sidearm, I have plenty of room out here, so I can just give a nice smooth release. And I've been learning backhand, and it's coming along. It's getting better.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about your putting stance. How do you best find your center and get that putt into the chin?
Oh, well, I've settled into like a straddle type putting style. The feet spread like shoulder wide or more and reaching between the legs for a putt. When I first started out, I played all two-finger, and I two-finger putted a lot. It's a little dangerous. They tend to carry a little too much. So eventually I started playing backhand, and I started a little up high, and now I play a straddle putt down low, and I try and get my power by reaching back a lot and having a nice follow through instead of having to lunge forward. And if it's too far for a straddle putt, then I'll probably do a two-finger upshot. Just a curvy thing, drop it in there.
So what frisbees are you throwing these days? What discs do you like?
I really like AVRs for putting. I use Cobras a lot for upshots, shorter drives. I use XS's for straight stuff when they're new, to turnover shots, to rollers, to tomahawks, more turnover stuff, and Valkyries for main drives mostly. A few other things in the bag, but that's what I use.
And recently you competed in the Masters Cup Amateur. How'd you do?
I played pretty bad last weekend, but I had fun. Yeah, back third of the field or something.
Now, the last time you and I had talked, you had won a tournament. How many tournaments are you playing these days?
I probably only play about 3 tournaments a year. I play the local Santa Cruz tournaments, Masters Cup, Fault Line, the Ice Bowl, and once in a while I get out to a NorCal tournament somewhere, Auburn or Grass Valley, Napa, something like that. But that's about it.
Well, Jacob, we love to watch you out there throwing the frisbees, and we appreciate you coming on the show today.
It was my pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Very much. Disctv, we'll be right back.
We pick up the action of the final 9 at hole 4, where Barry Schultz has lost a stroke to the others and now sits at 19 under par with a 3-stroke lead over Nate Doss and Jeff Lissaman, 4 strokes over Micah Dorius.
On to our 4th playoff hole now, another safari hole. This one is 422 feet. There's a fairway straight in front of the players, and then they're going to have to make their way to the right. Ken, how do we play this hole?
This hole's got a large cliff off to the right, so they want to guard away from going too far to the right.
And Nate Doss immediately finds himself in a tree.
I think after seeing that, the rest of the players will opt to play onto the left with a little more safer line. The roller could be dangerous on this hole as well, because the canyon on the right just pulls, the gravity pulls a roller down into it and you go deep.
Now, once the players find their way out into the fairway, they're going to have to make their way to the right side through a thick number of trees before they can get to the basket. We could see some bogeys here.
Jeff would probably normally roll this hole, but the wind is picking up. I think he's going to go with an air shot.
Got about a 10-mile-an-hour headwind now for Jeff Lissaman from Grass Valley, California.
He threw a very stable disc, which is coming back to the left. I'm going to end up in a decent spot to make an approach for him to get his 3. This hole is going to be very tough to deuce.
He was fortunate to come out of that pine tree. These can be real disc-eating trees. My God, Dory is now on the pad.
Nice low line drive, turning a bit to the right. This looks really good.
That was a smoothie. We're waiting for a reaction from the crowd below. There it is.
His nose angle on that shot was exceptional. It's hard to throw a disc into the wind and get it to do exactly what you want.
Especially into a headwind. Here's Barry Schultz.
Barry follows his line. Barry's is coming back a little more to the left. I think that's where the basket is located.
And we haven't figured out exactly where Barry Schultz went yet, but we know that it is off into a ravine, and he is not going to have a very manageable approach shot.
Yes, this looks like a very difficult shot to get close. He's got tons of trees in between him and the basket and a very steep slope.
It's a real shame, too, because it appears as though his shot really was pin high. It just went a little too long.
Well, that's what this course mainly offers, is a lot of deception. You think you have a good shot, and then it goes over the ridge and can roll.
Looks like Barry's going to try a pancake shot out.
Came out a little soft. He's going to have a very low ceiling putt. That's going to be tough.
Oh, Nate found a lucky break here. He's on the other side of the tree that he went into.
He entered the back side of that and went through about 50 foot of foliage to come out on the front side and leave himself a downhill approach.
He's still going to have a tricky stance to get himself out. But it should be manageable compared to where it could have landed.
Yes, that was a very fortunate break. He should take full advantage of this.
Nate has about 150 feet to go, and there's a whole lot of trees between him and that basket.
Drop! He got another decent break by tipping off the bottom of that limb and left himself about a 30-foot putt.
And Jessamine takes the easy approach. Doesn't try to run it, he's going to play it safe.
This course is smitten with elevation change. It can jump up and bite you at any moment. You think you're strong.
Dorius Micah also playing it safe. Maybe not intentionally, but nonetheless.
I don't know if the camera angle gives you a real sense of how steeply sloped this is.
And we've had more than a few players this weekend actually lose their putters trying to go at the basket and then going off into one of these deep, deep ravines and just never seeing that disc again.
Well, I'd have to say I've been a victim of that in years past, not this year, but it's happened. You can see by the way he's shuffling around that the footing is very tough. There's a lot of loose debris, and the slope makes it really tough to get footing.
You might very well see him go to his knee here. It looks like he's got a towel out for that very purpose.
It might be advantageous, seeing as the limbs are going to block his ceiling.
Nope, he's got to take the straddle.
Oh, Barry.
And he's not happy with his performance there. Nate Doss after the lucky landing on the drive, 4-3.
And the hometown boy is making the hometown crowd real happy with that three.
That was as solid as they come, Brian, right in the middle. Barry taps his in, a little bit in disgust.
So Barry Schultz with the bogey, now with a 2-stroke lead over Lissaman and Doss. Dorius Micah trails by 3.
He's got to maintain his focus here. I think Barry's a strong enough player to get his game into it headwise.
Moving on now to our 5th of 9 playoff holes. The card says 313 on this hole, Ken. Do you agree?
No, I think this one's a little longer than that. It's uphill as well, which makes it play about 400 feet.
Nate pulled out his big gun again, but he found himself into that tree.
That's going to leave him about a 60 or 70 footer with a low ceiling.
Now, we played this basket earlier on one of the safari holes, so these players know where they need to be in order to make their putts, preferably in that pit. Here's Jeff Lissaman with a roller.
He's just calling for it to turn over. He just wants to run up the hill. Oh, it didn't quite make it to the hill.
Got caught up on a rock or a branch, and he's going to find himself short in that hill to go over to make his putt. Micah Dorius has hit nothing but pars so far during our final 9. He'd like a deuce right now.
He's turning that one over a little bit, Brian. I think it's going to head downhill away from the pin. It's going to leave him in the neighborhood of 90 feet.
So chances are good Micah won't be finding the deuce now. Now Barry Schultz, after the bogey, his mental game is pretty solid. How do you think he's feeling right now?
I think he's feeling he can throw a couple of nice shots and close this thing out. He's turned that one a bit, but it's coming back. It's coming back, and it's going to skip. That's going to give him a deuce putt.
He is right behind the basket to the right side, and we'll see how this one plays out.
Tough a comebacker.
That was essentially a layup. He was trying to get it in, but playing it cautious at the same time. Nate has found himself in a pretty tight spot. This is an uphill putt through a low ceiling of trees and branches.
He gave that one a run.
He sure did.
Young kid is really showing some potential in the last couple of years. He's come up the ranks very steadily and fast.
And Nate Doss is a player that we are going to be seeing a lot more of in the future. Only 16 years old, and here he is at one of the finest events on the West Coast, and he's in the final 9. Here's Lissaman going over that hill. He's about 35 feet away. Just off the chains.
Barry is very fortunate to hit that gap in the trees, but he threw his disc with plenty of power. Got beyond the pin for a good look at it.
He's got a wide open putt. It's in his range, but not that time.
Clipped off the nub. It's down in the pit. Shouldn't be too tough. Micah clearing some debris out of his way. Make sure you get solid footing on the ground.
Now, Ken Clamel, what's the rule? What can you move and what can't you move?
If there's dead branches in your stance, you can move anything that's unattached and dead. Leaves, sticks, things of that nature, rocks. But if they're living or still attached, you must leave them there.
So Micah was clearly within the rules, and he did hit the putt for his 3. Here's Barry Schultz now for his 3.
Very solid. Maintain his 2-stroke advantage.
And he's definitely one of the most solid players out there today. Toss is in, and we move on to our 6th playoff hole.